And welcome everybody to this Concise Webinar, how to avoid SEO scams and SEO in general. We've got quite a lot to go through today, and whilst we try to keep the webinar concise, um, there's a lot of material here on SEO, not just SEO scams, but also how the questions to ask someone who's you're getting to do your SEO for you. Um, I This is a concise webinar. For those people who haven't been to one of our webinars before, we try to keep them concise. We try to keep them 100% educational. And these are not sales pitches. These are intended to be useful information that you can use in your business. I'd also like to welcome today Billy. Billy is one of our SEO specialists at Concise. Welcome, Billy. Say good day.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here.
Yeah, thanks for joining. Billy actually does SEO work every day, and she's right at the pointy end and at the deep end. So
Yeah.
it's really good to have you taking part in this session, Billy. Thank you. So
Awesome.
this one's about how to avoid SEO scams, and I guess we've all kind of encountered SEO scams, and one of the first things about avoiding them is recognizing them. And one of the things that a lot of SEO uh, some people who are not as which I don't want to call them scammers all the time, but sometimes people who are not necessarily great practitioners of it guarantee page one rankings. It's a tempting offer. A lot of businesses are sucked in by the idea of appearing first on Google, and there's lots of businesses who offer this kind of stuff. We think it's nonsense. It is possible to rank first page of Google, but it takes a lot of work to do it generally. And this particular one that I found, which was interesting, I thought, said rank your website on first page of Google, guaranteed one-time payment, $9.99. That's $1,000 US, which you pay once to this person, and they then try to get you some rankings. I looked into the FAQs for this particular one, and this is all BS, of course. But he says this is real, but his answers are BS in my humble opinion. As my wife said to me the other day, there's nothing humble about your opinion, Richard. But there you go. Anyway, so the question was, can you guarantee on first page ranking? Now, just look at the use of the English language. Yes, of course, keywords ranking totally depends on the keywords competition, which is true. Low competition keywords will rank quickly, which is possible, but they seldom rank quickly. But high competition keywords will take long time, and sometimes never. Next question on the FAQs: will you refund if keywords not ranked? No refund. I will follow up all of that anyway. No refund. So really, you take your chances when you engage one of these. But worse, it can actually be detrimental to your rankings. And so it's really important to get it right, and very important not to get it wrong. We sometimes think that we can tell potential scammers based on price. Someone who says they can promise the world to you for $30 probably can't deliver it. The example before was $9.99. That's $1,000 US. That's not cheap. And we know of people who operate in Australia and some in Perth, unfortunately, digital agencies that practice SEO work who charge maybe thousands of dollars each month on 24-month contracts, and
Yeah.
they don't get results, but the customer only knows about this later on. And we've had some really good or really bad examples of that. Some people, so it's not about price. You can't tell just on price. You can pay thousands of dollars and still get ripped off.
Yeah.
Some SEO operators want payment in advance. Sometimes that's a clue, sometimes it's not. Often they want long-term contracts where they sign you up for 24 months or something with a lock-in period where you can't get out of it. And if you try to get out of it early, then they bust you and they say, hey, this is all the contract. And there's just lots of issues with contracts. And so a lot of the scammers or people who don't do what we consider to be legitimate SEO, I don't want to call them all scammers. Some of them are, digital agencies that have well-known and they advertise a lot, but they don't deliver necessarily, and we think they rip people off. So
Yeah.
just be really careful with contracts. Billy, you want to add anything there?
Just another thing with when going back to where you were saying, they kind of overpromise like guaranteed, guaranteed rankings. Another thing to look out for is, using language like quick results. So whenever they're like promising to get you some results in a short period of time, that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
Because SEO does take a long time, and how long it takes depends on the industry that you're in. But anything like Google give a guide for SEO results, you're looking at 4 to 12 months. So if you see someone promise any less than that, then yeah, run away. And
Yeah.
also a big thing is, you know, just use common sense. Like if you're in a really competitive industry versus a niche industry, then it's going to take longer. So if you're, you know, selling clothes online, it's going to take so much longer if you're selling something really niche that you've got barely any competition. So just use common sense with, you know, kind of qualifying or any guarantees that they're giving you.
Yeah, good point. And there's some other things as well that people we got them here as other clues. You know, people who suggest to do things fake, fake reviews. You know, some people say make up these reviews. I say no, don't do that. That's always going to backfire. Any any
Yeah, that's
any
true.
business that has a one size fits all approach to SEO packages, or say you know they'll get you these 3 keywords for $400 a month or whatever. It's just not how it works, and it's easy to get sucked in. It's easy to get
Yeah,
sucked in. So we say let's not even do that. Let's ban those, and also ban BS guarantees, ban tricky contracts, don't do advance payments, and make sure that you're getting good reports. Often you only know these things, or you only know that reports are not good after it's too late, when it's too late. Okay,
yeah,
so what should a good SEO service include? So this is our thoughts. Partly it's our approach, but it's also our thoughts. This is not a sales pitch for Concise, although we obviously do this work. But when you're looking at a good SEO service, we think it should always start off with an understanding of the business. What are the business goals? What are the business priorities? How does the business work? And then develop a strategy for the SEO based on the business objectives. It's not just about saying, oh, I want to rank for this keyword. Okay, so let's understand how that fits into the business and understand the strategies that need to be developed to do that. Billy, you want to add anything?
no, I think that's really important. Like if an SEO isn't asking about your business, then how could they possibly offer any value to your website? Like if, you know, they're not asking you what your unique selling points are, what makes you different from your competition in order for them to highlight that on your website, then, you know, that's a pretty big red flag. So yeah, if
Yeah,
someone's asking you questions about your business, that's good.
yeah, good. So the next thing is keyword research. So once there's a strategy starting to be developed, it's about understanding how people search for you. And the key here is to identify these keywords, phrases. They may not just be one word, it may be a phrase, and it often is, that your target audience is going to use when they're searching for products like yours. And we call those keywords. And so research needs to be done into those. And whether it's local, whether it's national, whether you're global, the research needs to understand what catchment area or what target geographic area are you trying to reach and get rankings for, and what sort of words are people going to use to find you. And one of the key things, so there are some questions that the keyword research needs to look at. What are the relevant keywords? What other websites rank for these keywords? And then the kind of focus is understanding what they're doing right to rank for these websites, or what they're doing better than you to rank for these websites, for these keywords rather, and what it's going to take to beat them. And
Yeah.
this kind of then goes to this. Well, they're coming back to this guy here about competition, low competition keywords. You know, as I mentioned before at the start, it's valid, but there's just lots of things to think through, and it's one of the important concepts when you're looking at keywords. And Billy's going to talk a bit more about this, but is about understanding the search intent. So when people are searching on Google, irrespective of the words that they use when they're typing something into the Google search bar, what is it that they're actually trying to find? So that's what Google, and that's what we consider search is defined as the search intent, or the intent of the search. And so Google is so clever now that irrespective of what you put in, to the search box, Google tries to understand the search intent in a semantic search and then show matching results for that. And so for good SEO, it's about aligning these things together, understanding the search intent and aligning that with the keywords and the purpose. Billy, you want to add?
Yeah, I think a good example I could, so if you've got someone who's presented keyword research to you, and they're suggesting, it would be a good tip just to type some of those keywords in that they've suggested and check that they align with what your page is about. So if you have, say you're building an e-commerce website and they've suggested that you have a keyword that you target for, say, I don't know, best uh, baby's clothes, and then you search that into Google, and all you see are blog articles recommending a bunch of different baby clothes brands, and you're trying to rank a collection, an e-commerce page where you sell baby clothes. So that's a red flag, like that the search intent is wrong. So that's something to look out for, definitely.
Mm. And then once you start looking um, at the keywords, we then kind of come to this concept of looking at those that have lots of people wanting to rank for them and those that don't have very many people or very many other websites wanting to rank for them. So low competition versus high competition keywords. So as we've got here, low competition keywords generally have lower search volumes. They may be easier to rank for, but if that expression that someone's typing in is actually not used by your customers, if the keyword phrase that's easy to rank for is never used or seldom used by the customers you're trying to target, then
Mhm.
what's the point of trying to rank for it? You can spend a lot of money trying to develop pages that come up for this search term that no one's actually using to search on, or not enough people are using to search on to make it viable for you. Billy?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The other end of that is if you're in a really niche industry, sometimes, yeah, your keywords might have really low search volume, but if like the cost for the conversion is really high, I mean, the other way around. So if, you're going to get a lot of money if just one person converts, then it might be worth putting in the extra time. So it's not always that low volume equals it's not worth it. But if there's a better keyword that has more volume that is going to give the same results, then that should be the one that you're targeting. So
Yeah,
that's something to watch out for.
yeah, very good point. So it often is. So what's the value of your average sale that comes from something that may be a low competition keyword? If it's very high value and you can get a few of them, then great. So
Yeah.
there's a bit to it. There's a bit to get right.
Yeah.
So following on from the keyword research, and this is a kind of a speed run through some of the things to look for with SEO. Following on from keyword research is about optimizing the website, and we call that on page. So there's on page optimization and off page optimization. We'll talk a bit about that in a sec. But the on page optimization is about aligning the websites with the targeted keywords that you're trying to reach, and the website content, the structure, all the metadata, and optimizing for visibility within Google, yes, but also, and just as importantly, optimizing for engagement on the website, the experience the user has on the website, and conversions, whether the user is going to convert to do whatever it is that you want them to do on the website when they come. There's no point ranking in Google if you're focusing everything around getting rankings in Google. If when people come to your website's not rubbish, but if it's not going to engage them, give them a good experience, and have them convert, then you've got to get your priorities right. And so
Yeah.
it's a bunch of things to get right. Billy?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that, I guess, bringing that back to what to look for in a good SEO versus a bad SEO is someone who has that focus on getting your website to convert versus someone who's just, promising rankings because, yeah, like you said, rankings mean nothing if people don't actually take an action on your website. So, and also, promising lots of traffic versus conversions is also a red flag because what if the traffic isn't qualified? What if all this traffic's coming from different countries that you weren't trying to target, or different customers that won't actually buy your products or use your services. So yeah, a good SEO will always have a focus on getting you conversions, whether they're a sale, a booking, or even a micro conversion like subscribing to your newsletter. So yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. So for some businesses, local SEO is really important. If you are trying to sell things to, or if your customers come from your local geographic area, or you're trying to bring people into your shop or buy things from in an area, or you're selling services in an area that you specifically service, then we call that local SEO. And so it's about making sure that you're doing everything right for optimizing to get found in maps and getting found in Google. Google Business Profile used to be called Google My Business. That's the free profile listing that every business can get in Google, or every business that's got a physical location can get in Google, and some that don't can also get it if they know what to do. The key thing with a lot of this local SEO is to make sure that we call it NAP, N-A-P, to make sure that the NAP is correct and consistent across the various directories that you want to be listed in or are listed in. And also on Google Profile, just to make sure that your address and your phone number and everything is the same. Then Google understands where you are, who you are, and that you have a consistent identity. And the thing is, with the local SEO, often it's about people on their mobile devices. And so you need to be coming up, or your business needs to be coming up well on mobile searches. So there's a whole focus there. And it's not relevant to every business, but for those it is, then it's vital.
Yeah.
The other thing that's vital is optimizing to make sure that your website is mobile friendly. I mean, mobile friendly as a concept has been around for, probably almost 10 years now. And so very few websites are not mobile friendly. But it's not just about mobile friendly. It's got to load quickly. A couple of years ago, Google introduced something called the Core Web Vitals, which are a number of tests that they decided that they can put a website through to develop some measuring points or metrics to then decide whether the website is loading quickly or not, whether it's interactive quickly or not, and whether it's stable quickly or not. And so Google then ranks websites according to these criteria and more, or these criteria and more are included in the rankings as ratings for the website. And if your website is slow to load or gives a bad user experience, then Google doesn't like it as much and doesn't provide it as much in its rankings. So mobile friendly is really important. Do you want to add anything there, Bill?
Oh, I think a good SEO will give you an idea of how your website is performing in those 3 core web vital metrics, and give you like a list of what needs to be implemented in order to improve those scores if they're not good at, when you do the initial audit. So, and a bad SEO might not even mention core web vitals, or they might not provide any proof that your core web vitals are actually poor.
Yeah.
So
okay. Because it's something else to focus on, and some people just try to get stuff done quickly. Okay, the other part, the next point is about content, to make sure that the site content is relevant and that it's well optimized. Billy's got some thoughts on this.
Yeah, so when you are writing content, a good SEO should be focusing on writing content that will establish you as an authority in your niche. So if you're like, I'll use Concise as an example. So, we offer SEO services as part of one of our main digital marketing services. So it's really important for us to establish ourselves as a authority on SEO in Google's eyes. So creating content like our webinars and blog posts and other forms of content help to establish us as topical authorities in our niche. So a good SEO will always have a plan, a content marketing plan, with lots of different topics around your niche to help establish authority for you in Google's eyes. So that's something to look out for. And a bad SEO wouldn't have a content strategy for you.
Okay.
And what was the other thing there? Optimize for keyword. Yeah, okay. Another thing is a good SEO would be looking for ways to reach more of your customers, because not everyone will be searching for your products and services in the same way. For example, with Concise, like we offer web design services as well, but we know that someone might be looking specifically for WordPress web design. So we would create a page to rank for those keywords so that we can get customers who are looking for that more specific service rather than just targeting web
Yeah.
design. So
Yeah.
that is,
I was just going to say that's a good point. That goes to the keyword specific landing pages. Yeah.
mhm,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, good one. So the next point here is about link building. Now, link building is kind of is I mentioned about on-page SEO and off-page SEO. So link building is part of off-page SEO. This is stuff that helps your ranking in Google, but is not specifically stuff you do to your website. Link building has when other people build links to your website, and if you can have other people build links to your website from trusted websites, authoritative websites, relevant websites to the topic that you are wanting to be ranking for, then that gives you power within Google. Billy?
Yeah, yeah, that's all. Yeah, right. I guess I think if you're looking at it from the other side, is you would want to avoid any SEOs who promise to get lots of cheap, quick links, because link building is very time consuming and it's very expensive, especially when you're trying to build links from websites that are really trustworthy, that do have a lot of authority. It's harder to get links on those websites. So if you have an SEO who's promising fast link building, if they mention Fiverr or PBNs, you would want to avoid those and instead look for an agency who is going to build, high quality links, and that they might be more expensive, um, but will, benefit your website in the long term versus,
Yeah,
getting penalized by Google because you
yeah.
tried to take shortcuts.
Yeah, that's really important. For one of the things that we've talked about for a long time now in the context of the web is people or businesses and websites kind of hang around in neighborhoods, and if you are being seen to be part of a bad neighborhood, then that is like if you've got a whole lot of links to your site from a bunch of dodgy websites, then your
Mm,
site becomes a dodgy website by association. And Google then says, "Oh, I'm going to take away rankings or take away the power from that because that website appears to be associating with a bad neighborhood." And
yeah.
this is actually how it works. And so a lot of, well, some cheap slash bad SEO services will provide you with lots of links, but they actually come from bad neighborhood websites, and that works against you. And you often only find that out later, once your rankings drop or someone else comes in and does a search on the backlinks that are coming into your website and say, "Oh gosh, you've got a whole lot of websites from these a whole lot of links from these crap websites." And so then there is a process of what we call disavowing the links, saying to Google, "Hey, can you please take that link off? We don't want to be associated with that website. So go and disavow that link." And it can be done, but you've got to be careful. If you
Mm.
get a whole bunch of dodgy links links to your website from dodgy other websites, then there's things to do to clean it up, but it becomes a bloody mess. Anyway,
Yeah, and
go on, Bill.
oh, sorry, one more thing to add. A good question to ask, if you're hiring an SEO, is ask them, do they build the links themselves, or are they using a third party service to outreach? And ask them why they use that particular service if they are outreaching, or if they're doing it themselves, ask about their techniques. And I guess, if you, a big thing with, Black Hat um, link building is that you might have an initial rise in rankings, but it just won't last, and it's not worth the short-term gain, because long-term you could be penalized. So that's
Google
all.
has this habit, as it has done for ever since it's been built, of introduce, and now it's an ongoing process of changing the algorithm to improve search results. That's what Google does continually, And
Yeah,
if there are things you've done or have been done to your website to take shortcuts that provide, maybe it looks like you're getting better rankings, but it's actually trying to trick Google, then sooner or later Google's going to catch up with that and flick you out of the listings. And so
exactly.
it's just not worth it. Okay, moving on. Analytics and reporting. A good SEO service does include good reports. It should. So part of that's benchmarking your current rankings to understand how things are going. Part of it's monitoring the website performance, but it's also about monitoring and tracking the effectiveness of the SEO work that's being done on your site. Now, Google Analytics is helpful for that. We also use some other tools, which we can tell you about later if you want, that we use with our clients to help them be able to track either on a daily basis or 3 times a week or a weekly basis where they are in Google for particular keywords and in different locations as well. If someone's targeting Perth, Sydney, and Melbourne, we can actually have this automated search tool that then says, for this keyword, you're ranking in number 3 in Melbourne and number 7 in Sydney. And so we can then try to optimize things even more effectively that way. Do you want to add
Yeah.
anything there?
I think with the reporting, before you sign up to any SEO agency, ask for a sample report and see what sort of metrics they're reporting on. So if they're reporting on lots of vanity metrics like impressions and rankings, that's a bit of a warning sign. It should be, the focus should be on what, metrics are important to you, and most of the time they're going to be sales or bookings. So when you see reporting, watch out for those things,
Mm,
because there's many ways to make a report look better than it is.
yeah.
Um,
And the other thing we suggest is that it's good to start with an SEO audit that helps understand the website, that helps who the visitors are and the current situation with the website, and also to identify problems and any sort of issues and opportunities. And when we conduct an audit, what we also do is we prioritize these issues and opportunities to say, okay, where can we get some quicker wins, and what are problems that need to be fixed pronto in order to make a good difference fast. Do you want to add to that, Bill?
I think if people promise a free audit, that can be a bit of a warning sign, because audits take a long time to do it, manually and individually on your specific website. And if someone's willing to do that for free, it's most likely they're just spitting out, a bunch of recommendations, like over on, just automatic systems. Like there's heaps of tools that will give you an audit, but you need someone to understand exactly what's important within those tools. So that's something to look out for, someone who provides a really in-depth SEO audit, something that you likely have to pay for, and that really gets into which issues are the most important, because there's a lot of things you could improve on your website, but you could also spend thousands of dollars improving things that aren't going to really make that much of a difference. So a good SEO will prioritize
Yeah,
in an audit.
yeah, that's a very good point, and it's also easy to have a kind of a template audit report that you might receive, and so it looks like there's a whole lot of info there, but really it's just something that's been regurgitated. And there
Yeah.
are, as Billy just said, there are automated tools, and we use them as well, but we don't just use them. We have human, like Billy and other people on her team, to go in and do this audit work when it's for that to actually use the brain, understanding the business, and then understanding what's going on the website for the business.
Yeah.
Okay, so third point is the key questions to ask. We suggest to ask an SEO service provider and ask these before you sign up rather than afterwards. It's a bit late afterwards.
Hmm.
So the first question we think is really important is to say, okay, who are you that you are wanting? You know, what's your business about? Who are you, and what do you know about my business? In other words, if I'm running a fashion boutique in Dunsborough, and somebody is doing the SEO work out of Queensland, and they're employing somebody in, I don't know, pick a place, Philippines, Pakistan, or whatever, to do the work, then what do they actually know about what I'm trying to achieve? Where's the person located? Where's the business located? And how is this SEO person who's going to actually do the work? How is that person going to understand the customers and how they think? Bill, do you want to add anything there? It's
No,
pretty obvious,
I
really.
think you covered it. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. All righty. So next point, to understand the approach to SEO work that the SEO provider has. And to understand, it's okay to ask these questions. Um, how do they plan to optimize the website? How do they conduct the keyword research? How is this done? How do they approach link building? How do they provide regular reports? And how often do these reports come? And
Yeah.
then there's some other questions as well that are really important as well. And this kind of goes back to the strategy. What is success? To ask the SEO person, how do you measure success for a website like mine? What are the metrics that you're going to use? And what are the metrics you're going to use to follow the effectiveness and understand the effectiveness of the SEO work that's being done? Um, and the fourth point there, who does the work? Sometimes website, or sometimes most times for SEO work, there has to be work done on the website to change a few things, a bit of metadata, a bit of content, add some links, do whatever, fix things up, remove some issues. And so who's going to do that work? Is the SEO person going to do it? Or do they have some web people who can do this work quickly and accurately? Or are they going to give you a bunch of instructions to do yourself? Because that might be great if that's what you want, but also if they give you a whole bunch of instructions and you don't have a clue what these instructions are, and they say, well, I told you what to do. And they say, yeah, but you didn't tell me how to do it. Um, so understand who is going to do the work. And if it's about content creation, then understand the capacity that that business has, that the agency has for creating the good content, and make it, get them to do some to prove it to you. This has been a quick run through. This is, I think, the last slide. So, other questions. Understand about pricing. What's the fee basis? Is it a one-time thing? Is it a monthly thing? And also ask. Don't be frightened to ask about any additional costs or hidden fees, because you want to know them so they're not hidden, rather than have them come out of the woodwork later. And the last point there about the contract. Is there a contract? If so, let me have a look at it. What happens? Like, I'd like to understand how long I'm signing up for, and what happens if this all turns, downwards, and I want to get out early. How do I do that? Can I do that, or am I going to be locked in for 24 months or some very long period of time, which in this day and age is just nuts. To lock in anyone to do 24 months, it's just silly. The world changes too damn quickly. Billy, do you want to add to any of this?
I think just as a final point, like a good SEO should be someone that you can work with, who feels like they're part of your business, because ultimately so much of SEO happens on site, and you might be doing other changes to your website, and so it's really important that you can work well and closely with your SEO, because really everything needs to be considered. Any change to a website, any other marketing efforts can also be linked back to SEO. So I think that's a really important thing, is someone that feels like an extension to your business is the person that you would want to choose to work with.
Yeah, good, thank you. Okay, so this has been a quick rip through. If you've got any questions on this, then please send an email to either me or to Gareth, who's not here on this webinar, or you can send a email to Billy, but we haven't got her address because she doesn't. She's happy to receive emails, but she's normally locked away doing SEO work.
Yeah.
So we don't
Yeah.
let her talk to people as I interrupt her. But anyway, Billy, thank you so much for participating, joining me in this webinar today. Really appreciated and valued your contributions. Thank you so much. If anyone does have any questions on any of this, please don't hesitate to give us a call or send an email. And Billy, you want to say anything to wrap up?
Oh, no, that's all good. It's been a pleasure.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. Thanks, Billy. And thanks, everyone, for coming along. And this webinar will be available on YouTube and on our website in a little while. So thanks again, and all the best for today. Thank you. See you, everyone.
Bye.